Pro-gun facets of society endorse treason when they speak words of insurrection. And it is amazing to see people in Congress speaking these same words of insurrection concerning the Second Amendment. These elected representatives who hold to the pro-gun facets insurrectionist interpretation of the Second Amendment are clearly wrong when they speak words of insurrection by stating the Second Amendment gives them the right to bear arms for the purpose of rising up against a tyrannical government. And the elected representatives who speak words of insurrection concerning the Second Amendment should think about what they say to the American people when they speak from the insurrectionist mindset. The Constitution clearly addresses elected representatives who engage in insurrection or rebellion against the United States in Section 3 of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States, which reads as follows: "No person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector of president and vice president or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state, who, having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as a member of any state legislature or as an executive or judicial officer of any state, to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. But Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such disability." The Constitution clearly states elected representatives who engage in insurrection or rebellion against the United States may be removed from office by a vote of 2/3 of each house. A word to the wise would be sufficient for elected representatives who follow and promote the insurrectionist interpretation of the Second Amendment promoted by pro-gun facets of society. The Second Amendment does not support the insurrectionist mindset of pro-gun facets of society, as the Second Amendment is not for rising up against the government with arms, and those who believe the insurrectionist interpretation are undoubtedly ignorant of the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution was framed against insurrections, as one can clearly see by reading through the Constitution. But pro-gun facets of society have been successful in indoctrinating some into their insurrectionist interpretation of the Second Amendment, even though the Constitution is clearly against insurrections. And there are severe consequences for those involved in insurrections, as levying war against the United States is treason, as clearly outlined in Article 3, Section 3, which I read earlier, but will read again, as this is an important point that needs to be made for those who follow the insurrectionist interpretation of the Second Amendment promoted by pro-gun facets of society. Article 3, Section 3 reads as follows: "Treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them, or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of 2 witnesses to the same overt act, or on confession in open court. The Congress shall have power to declare the punishment of treason, but no attainder of treason shall work corruption of blood or forfeiture except during the life of the person attainted." The Constitution was framed in order to form a more perfect union, not to establish mass confusion.